Dobrý den, dámy a pánové, s přesností japonského Shinkansenu začíná stream v 16:00, přesně jak jsme se stanovili v našem programu a i tady na streamu. Jmenuji se Red, ale to vy víte. Nebo nevíte? Já doufám, že to víte. Musíme si o něčem promluvit, chat. To je za Discord zvuk notifikace. A kdo to vymyslel? Proč to měněj? To je strašný. Proč to změnili? Proč to změnili z něčeho, na co už jsme zvyklí, na něco, na co zvyklí nejsme? A zní to tak, jako že to zapadne. Zní to jako Steam achievement. What the fuck, vole? Co to je? On je jiný zvuk? Ano. Dneska jsem ho slyšel poprvé. Prostě Discord má nový zvuk. Já právě si říkám, co to je za zvuk tady? A ono je to člověče Discord. Já jsem ještě nekoukal, jestli se to dá změnit nebo ne, protože to je doslova věc, kterou jsem zjistil před 5 minutama. Ale prostě Discord má nový zvuk. Discord má nový zvuk notifikace. Nevím proč. A nebo jestli je to tím, že mám aktivovaný nitro. Tolik otázek. Už od včerejška? Tak to je hnusno. To je jedno. Dámy a pánové, my se podíváme dneska společně na hru What Remains of Edith Finch. Asi přeloženo jako co zbylo z Edith Finch. Vůbec nevím, o čem to bude. A jsem na to zvědavej. Jsem na to docela zvědavej. Měla by to být hra na 2 hodiny a platina na 3, takže jdem na to. To začíná jak Alan Wake. Oh shit, ježiši. Doufám, že ta senska se zvedne. Edith Finch. OK. Jsem nejdřív hledala, co mi cinká, a pak mi došlo, že dali nový zvuk. Jo, taky jako. A co remasterovaný Until Dawn bude? Remake, ne remaster. Aha, tak no. Nevěděl jsem, co z toho to je. Je to remake, ale je to remaster. A ne, nebude, protože za 70 € to fakt nestojí. To si raději zaplatinuju původní Until Dawn, než abych za 70 € platil to samý, jenom hezčí. Takže remakenutý remaster nebude. Bude Edith Finch.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna start at the beginning, with the house.
Okay, hodně z toho nebude dávat smysl a za to se omlouvá, ale začínáme s...
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Okay.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Takže to je na způsob toho. Víte čeho? Ježíš ty kráso. Ten kluk do prčic, jak se to jmenuje? No. Ty kráso, jak se to jmenuje? To je skvělá hra. Ethan. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Děkuju. Tady je zoom. Jo, ok, zoom je na 2 tlačítkách. Tohle je menu a zároveň nějaký rodokmen.
I lived here until I was 11. but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
No, poloviny domu nemohla. Do 11 tady bydleli. OK. Ethan, What Remains of Edith, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Já dodělávám už Cyberpunk 77, chybí mi najít všechny fast travely a je dám. Nice.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
OK. Poklidný začátek, zvuky přírody.
My mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Nějak uděláme to stylem, že si to nejdříve zahrajeme a pak případně si doděláme nějaký věci. Protože tohle je hra, kterou si úplně jako nechci spoilovat guidou nebo tak něco. Tyhle ty příběhový... Tyhle ty příběhový walking simulátory. Vzhledem k tomu, že to je na 2 až 3 hodiny, tak jako... To asi ničemu nevadí, když to proběhnu jednou a pak si doděláme nějaké věci. Tady hodně trofejí je i jako story driven, že jak postupuješ příběhem, tak to odemykáš.
Even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
OK, takže my jsme zdědili.
Now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Zdědili náš dům. A teď otázka je, kdo je Edith Finch teda? Vypadá to, že my nejsme Edith Finch. To bude třeba naše muter.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
OK. Tu máme zlatý strom, nějaký Elden Ring tady.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Jsme zdědili ten barák, nám je 17? Je inherited jako zdědit, ne? OK.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Zdědili jsme barák, ale stejně jdeme dveřma pro psy. Takže proč ne? Ale musím říct, víc zabagovanou, zagličovanou hru, jak Cyberpunk 77 jsem nikdy nehrál. Mám done, the game is fixed.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Oh.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Škoda tu point of view bych dal trošku. Pojďme se podívat do nastavení. Není tady možnost point of view nebo něco? Není. Hej, dík.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Ok, náš bratr začal pracovat, vole, v konzervárně. Konzervárně je to slovo?
Or only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Ok, jediná restaurace k nám zavážela. Chinese. Jo, tady je hodně toho tu nějaká. No počkej, Salman, není to nějak. Bude to tu nějak?
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Ale proč jsme opustili náš dům?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
OK. Já si myslím, že my jsme někde že tohle není reálný, víš, jakože...
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Ona otevřela knihu, takže... My asi prožíváme nějaký jako vzpomínky, deníku nebo něco takového. John Finch living room, OK. Nejsi sirotek? Nejsem sirotek. Nebo já nevím. Jako měli jsme početnou rodinu, že by všichni umřeli.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Sven, Barbara, Edith. Men. Jsme zpátky v kuchyni.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Můj bratr Milton, bratr Louis. Tohle je zamčený, hádám.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Okay. Tak musíme najít možnost, jak to otevřít. Pojďme nahoru. Vezmeme se? Asi ne. Samý
After
knížky
Milton
všude.
disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Jsme to za rodinu, tyhle, jako začínám se lehce bát.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
To by mě tak sralo ty knihy otočené hřbetem kěsí. Tady je blbý, že ty tady nemáš žádnou interakci, nebo nevidíš, s čím můžeš interagovat, dokud k tomu
I
nepřijdeš.
spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Máme klíč. Já jsem vzal klíč.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
What the hell? Co to je za skopku tohle? What? Počkej, tak to doprojdeme tady ještě. Jo, tohle jsou všechny teda...
The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Tady jsou zabarikádovaný prostě... What the hell? Ležel jenom rok?
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
No jasně, že to víš, ale jakoby proč? Vem si, že tady je mu je 1 rok, Gregory. Já to koupil, no. Se třásněma, víš, jakože proč? Nebo jakože pokaždé, když někdo umřel, tak se zabarikadovala jedna místnost v domě, nebo?
Whenever people ask me about my family, The first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
OK, Barbara je naše nějaká sestra, co to dotáhla do filmové branže. Tady je Barbara. Barbara umřela 16 let. Nebo to je jako kdy opustili
Barbara was a
barák.
child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Prostě těch klipů, co jsem si udělal, zavolám si auto, nikde není, jdu na místo, kde má být, a tak se spavne pod policejním autem, nebo jedu z ničeho nic, a auto vedle mě mimo obrazovku udělá GTA stand a letí přes obrazovku. No aspoň se nenudíš! A nějaký vína. Tak zkusme jít nahoru.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we
OK.
left.
Takže půda je zamčená, tak půjdeme teda do toho uzavřeného, zatím zajímavý, zatím jako spoustu otázek, žádné odpovědi.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Saving.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Bylo cool effect.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Čau, Doku. Tohle není to s tím vlakem? Myslíš The Vanishing of Ethan Carter? Zrovna jsme na to mysleli na začátku. Ne. Viděl jsi to animéčko Dan Da Dan? Neviděl jsem Dan Da Dan. Vím, že to bylo v kině, ale samozřejmě ne v mém kině.
1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
To snědl morče, ne?
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Dan Da Dan. A slyšel jsem, je to od Creepy Nuts, takže ti stejní, co udělali.
I kept eating and eating. I ate a lot of things that night.
Otesánek.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Čemu zamčený okno?
And suddenly, I was a cat.
Co kurva se děje, vole?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
No vidíš to, Bunny, už nemusíme hrát stray? Já jsem toho ptáčka chytl teda, jo, teďka.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Kámo, co to hraju?
Rabbits.
Promiň, Bunny.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
OK. Co to kurňa je? Jaký drogy tady dávaj?
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
A já myslím, že to je seriózní hra tohle.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Hej přátelé a kamarádi, já absolutně nevím, o co jde, vole.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Kámo, co se to tady děje?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Okay.
I was big, but I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't. After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Proč se to hraju?
I got closer and closer.
Já jsem u sebe. Teda jako u Molly, jako u sebe teďka, co hraju za Molly.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
Kámo, já na to nemám, na tohle. Co to je?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Okay. Okay, achievement za ten LSD trip
This will
nebo
be
něco?
obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Počkej, děda, 1915 až 1964, to by mu bylo nějakých 49. Ve 49 dědou to mi nějak nevychází.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
No, Aničko.
We
Pojď,
always
přidej si
tried
k
to leave
nám.
before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Jedeme tady docela na LSD tripu
The room was
teďka.
like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Family chorus? Co je family chorus?
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Okay, naložili jsme barák a odpluli jsme.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Ona sera. Ahoj, mamute. Však proč ne, ve 20 máš dítě a když to dítě má ve 20 dítě, tak si dělá už ve 40. No to jo, ale já jakožto protagonista jsem to dítě ještě jako za ním chodil. To už mi nevychází, víš? Ona říkala, že chodila za dědou, aby se, nebo to bylo myšleno jako, že, no to je jedno. Je to divný.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Okay. Mamu, nevím, jestli jsem tě zdravil. Ahoj.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Tak creepy úsměv docela. Tak to by ti mohlo být klidně 9, ne? No, těžko říct. Já nevím. To všechno.
Whatever's wrong with this family,
Odin.
it goes back a long ways.
Takže už máme 2 Pokémony.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
OK, tady je ten jednoroční... Ten? Něco pro Doka? Po tom, co jsme viděli, ve hře už nic není divný, to
The
je
only
pravda.
trace
No.
Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Kamu to chceš? Flaška na záchodě. Zdravíčko, pane Oink. Klíč, já mám ultimátní klíč na všechno. There's a secret in this bathroom by Sven and Edie Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Co jsme za rodinu?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Šípole. Prostě za záchodem je vstup do místnosti.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Aha, já jsem na houpačce, už to dává smysl. Máme zlomenou nohu.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Čet, kdy naposledy jste byli na houpačce?
Wanted to fly. But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Před 25 lety. Jo, nejde to zastavit. Se nemůžu ani podívat, já můžu jenom jako kopat. A vlastně předtím, než jsem vážil 140 kg, Spartuj, nebudu smrt. Já se asi musím houpat dál. Já se vám přiznám, že než jsem pořádně pochopil na houpačce, že se máš jakoby houpat tím, že jakoby, no chápeš, jakože nohy dozadu, dopředu a zhoupneš se, chápeš, gravitace. Nebo jako nešlo mi to moc, no.
Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
Čet, letíme! Čet, my za chvilku poletíme.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Vole, mě je z toho blbě. Ty vole. What the hell?
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
To jako zkazí pondělí, no.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Krása.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Enlisted? Co znamená enlisted? Vlastně půl? Žá blbec, jsem otevíral tu skříň, mi to vycucalo baterku. O prdele.
Passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Tady jsme u Barbary.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Takové běžné schovky, a chápeš to? A holka měla i svoji vlastní ulici.
A Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later,
Napínavý chat.
hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Čo to je interaktiv... I fucking love this jam.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Já jsem věděl, že za to bude achievement. Jsem viděl, že taková blbost musí být jako odměněna. Kurně, ale teďka neprojdu. Právě já jsem zkusil, říkám, tyjo, jde s tím šlehat, jde. Ale Halloween banger, jako let's go, no. Jdeme.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Kurva, já mám furt tu berlu. A furt hraje Halloween. Jdem natočit. A špatně dveře.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and... was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
A teď my přijdeme dolů a on tam nebude. Když mi rád, já připomínám Max Payne. Max Payne, super. Jak jestli jsem někomu skipl zprávu, tak to napište znovu, ale byl jsem docela huknutý teďka.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick. who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
The fuck, man? Co? Oh,
All
shit.
Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
28.2.2023. 28.2. To bude super platinování? Proč myslíš? Nebo proč to, co? Počkej, odejít nemůžu. Jo, počkej, já to mám ještě jednu cestičku. No ale je to hodně podobný k tomu do Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Ale není to od stejného studia. Kde byla ta hrací skřínka? Tady jsme byli.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
No, ale kde je ta skřínka? To je zamčeno. Ona je asi vlastně dole, že jo? Tak jdem dolů. Jo, tady. Otázka zní, to šlo udělat už od začátku? Já si myslím, že ne. Že jsi musel najít tu Barbaru, aby si zjistil, že fakt musíš točit až do konce. Swen!
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Kámo, prostě v ledničce je zase jiná místnost. Chápeš to?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Walter byl tady jako dole, jo. Wow. Tady je Walter Green. 2005, to je pomalu současnost, ty vole.
I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
30 let byl dole.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
Jen před 19 lety.
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
Existuje vůbec takovýhle otvíráky ještě dneska?
Living for today.
No dej si broskvé. No ty
I always
vole, ten
expected
tam
to be
poslal.
dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Jsme v 76. Není to Troy Baker?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal.
Ne. To není Troy Baker. Tyhle otvíráky jsou nejlepší, kamo.
Almost friendly.
Pošle to tam. Hele, je 1976 a teď bude...
And then one day, everything just stopped.
Nejsepy?
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Ten barák má všechno.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
A stává se z toho Diminishing ten Carter.
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Ten začíná v tunelu a vychází v lese.
I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Hej bro, to je...
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Co si zatím myslíte o téhle hře?
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Tam to je latrína tohle, že jo? Jak se sprchoval.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Jak si měl zadek od kaštanůček.
Now that there's only one of us left.
Že ten nechce...
Maybe two.
Už. Ten nechtěl pustit se otočit za sebe.
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else.
To je tak weird.
But now I'm
Až
worried
je
the
to dobrý.
stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse. We made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
To je nějaký ostrovčet.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Já jsem, ježiš, když jsme tak ztraceni všichni tady. What the hell?
I think the people in these stories believe them, for what that's worth.
What the hell is this game? Tak jdem asi nahoru, no. Tamhle je k sošce. Škoda, že jako sprint není. Jako chápu, urychlili bychom tu hru ze 2 hodin na hodinu nebo něco takového, ale už hrajeme hodinu, chat. Takže jsme v polovině? No asi jo.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
Představosti, tvrdohlavosti, šílenství.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Oj, chat.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edith who designed the cemetery.
To je malý človíček v tom. OK, takže všechny tyhle ty příběhy jsme zatím viděli.
My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edith the past never went away.
Není to divný mít za barákem pohřebiště své rodiny? Není to jako divný?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Koukneme kukátkem.
said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Taky kdy na to brali finance, ej, to je fakt jako.
Edith's side was always easier for me to understand.
Na ty přístavky furt.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Ale Gregory, Sam
Her
a
dad had been
Gus.
pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
No, Gregory žil jenom rok. Počkej, ani ne. Skoro 2. Skoro 2 roky žil, no. Nedožitých 2. Divné. Možná, ale víš, kolik to ušetří času? Jsou dušičky, tak vyjdeš na zvonek, zapálíš. Na dvorek, pardon. Zapálíš pár svíček. Už se neřekla hotovo. No a co když je ale právě Halloween a všichni se tady dělá kumar.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
A korunu. Říkám jenom, kdy tady najdu svůj náhrobek, nebo to. Já jsem vlastně kdo? Já jsem Edith.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday.
Nebo takhle, teď jsem Edith. Nevím, kdo jsem ve skutečnosti. Jako jo, dík, vole.
But looking back on it now.
Pravda, já už jsem zapomněl, kdo jsem.
So much climbing. I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Jsem těhotnej? V 17? V 22. týdnu? Ty za hru, vole.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Kam já se v tom ztrácím, vole, pochopil jsem to dobře?
They were both pretty intense.
Ale říkala, že kdyby věděla, že je tady tolik lezení, tak sem nepůjde, když je těhotná v 22. týdnu. To je, vole. Pane bože. Tak. Tak pojďme zjistit, co tady má děda sem. A nebo ne, já jsem si to rozmyslel, počkej. Ty vole, to je jiný selfiečko.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Proč to dělám?
What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
It's too early, Dad.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
Language! Co chceš vyfotit?
forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
My jsme na tom, na hantění. Je lovecká sezóna.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn on. Let me get the
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
Jo. Mě by zajímalo, jak se odehrá tato situace. Běž tam k tomu jelenovi a dělej, že brečíš. Jak se tam vůbec dostala, vole?
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Oh, shit. Teď ovládám já, papu.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Co to je? Co to hrajeme?
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Když mě zaráží chat, oni říkali, že jako budeme dostávat achievementy v průběhu hraní. Zatím jsme v průběhu hraní ani jeden nedostali.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Nechceš poslouchat dětské řvaní? Nevádí. Trč ho nahoru, vole, do mezonetu. Já jsem furt ta žába.
I wish she could have told us.
Mama? Mama? Tak už chápu, proč jenom roka 3/4, no.
About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Ahoj, Lorde Fangere. Tak to už dává smysl, proč jenom roka půl, no. Nebo roka 3/4. Takže nám chybí ještě 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 postav. Zabila ho žába, přesně tak, žáby jsou vražedný. A tady je hnedka druhý.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. Father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Hej, ale prostě je super, že i když je to